Hello everyone and welcome back to the Belgian Beer Brothers channel. Cedric here in Antwerp with yet another brew review, and today we are going back all the way to the very beginning of brewery Omer Vander Ghinste, well known for their beers like Omer and Triple Le Fort. But the very first beer that they brewed in 1892, if I'm not mistaken, was their old red brown, Flemish brown. They call it a red brown, but back in those days it was called an old triple. And this is a mixed fermentation beer, and that is something that we don't see very often, but is very interesting. And this beer is made by brewing a base beer, in this case with malted barley, wheat and caramel malts, and then blending that with a spontaneously fermented beer of at least 18 months old. And they blend that to become very sweet and sour. Now over the years, over the decades, they adjusted this recipe quite often, but I think about 10, 12, 20 years back, they went back to the original recipe from 1892. So let's see how this goes. Of course, brewery Omer Vander Ghinste, known for their first name passing down from generation to generation, and I think they are at generation number 5 now. First of all, I want to talk about this bottle because with this bottle they went back to the 1920s when this beer was thriving, and I absolutely adore this label and this style. Now let's read the label, or maybe I should draw some attention to this pretty old vintage looking printed bottle cap. A Flanders sour ale of mixed fermentation, 2/3 young top fermented beer and 1/3 spontaneous fermented beer, matured for 18 months in oak barrels. Brewed since 1892, contains barley malt, wheat and sweetener. It's a bit of a shame that they use the word sweetener. But yeah. Source water, special malts and the best hops make this beer good. Aged for years on oak barrels. Yeah, they really took it back to the 20s, and that was when they made a name for themselves, and also where the story about the first name dates back to, because Omer Vander Ghinste was a pretty good businessman, and he had stained glass windows made to put in the pubs and the inns that sold their beer. Only he used his full name, Omer Vander Ghinste. So when his son was born, they had an incentive to call him Omer as well, because otherwise their marketing wasn't right anymore. So this beer will be very fruity and acidic, and I'm looking forward to this because I love this style. You could compare this to, I think the best known example is of course Rodenbach. But we have quite a lot of red ales, red browns, Flemish sour ales. That's one big family. First off, it is absolutely red brown. It is a nice dark caramel brown with very reddish tones in the light, and even a dark beige foam. Now, because this is an acidic beer, this will not last very long, but it does have beautiful foam. Yeah, very typical. We get some lemon, some vinegar as for the acidity, but at the same time we do get caramel. We also get red fruits, berries. weirdly some peach or pineapple, but like I said, sour and fruity are the main keywords in this beer. Also quite astringent, quite woody, but very, very pleasant. Now, one of my favorite beers in this style is Duchesse de Bourgogne from Bruges, and this beer reminds me of that, like almost exactly. So let's have a taste. Cheers. It's practically exactly what I expected, except for it's slightly more sour, slightly less sweet, and a bit less dense. So let's start at the beginning, because of course you guys don't know what I was thinking about. So this would be a very weird way of explaining. First off, like I said, all the foam has gone. That acidity draws that right down. But the first impression I have is this is a rather thin beer, and it is rather sour, rather acidic. And it is more acidic than it is fruity sour, or sweet and sour. So again, I would say a mixture of, let's say, lemon and vinegar. Apart from that, a hint of sweetness in there. And with beers like this, it's never a malty sweetness, it is always a sugary or caramelly sweetness. In this case, very thin, so not a lot of sweetness left. And I may have forgotten to mention that this is a 5.5%, yeah, 5.5% beer. And in the olden days, people drank practically only this, this and lambic. And that is where we get those alcohol percentages from. That is historically what they had. So this is a very easy drinking beer, and that's what I wanted to get to. Until today, this is still a very easy drinking beer. It may not be so very outspoken, but it does have those woody tones. It's slightly astringent, just like in the nose, but we also get in the back of the mouth, in the roof of the mouth, that astringent feeling, like that woody, dry coating, which is, in my case, very, very lovely and very wanted. Slightly reminds me of Fanta Lemon, but less sweet. And mainly because it is not so sweet, but it is quite thin, it is low in alcohol, it is easy drinking. This is actually a great all year round beer, but I do drink this oftentimes in the summer when it gets rather late. And the aftertaste is actually very pleasant. It's like everything I just told you guys, but averaged out. So it is slightly sweet and sour, but way more mellow, way more smooth. And it is thin, but it is still present. And the longer you look into this, the more you get a slight bitterness from the hops. There is a bit of hoppiness shining through, which is again very pleasant. I think the only remark that I would give this beer is it's a bit thin. I would have liked this to have a more fuller mouthfeel, a bit more rounded mouthfeel. But no, don't care. It's good, it's great. If that's the only quote-unquote flaw that I find, this is an awesome beer. So lovely packaging, lovely look, great scent, lovely aroma, beautiful taste. I think we are going for yet another 375 in this case. Now bear in mind when scoring this that this is a style that I absolutely enjoy. I do realize that this is not for everyone, but all I can say is try one, and if you want an easy gateway Flemish red ale or sour ale and you're in the States or in the UK, or I know that Rodenbach exports quite a lot, but please don't start with the regular Rodenbach, start with the Grand Cru. It's like 20 cents more and it's a way better beer. But yeah, explore this style, just like I'm open to exploring all styles. Check this out. It's also a beautiful bridge between regular beers, let's say doubles and triples, and lambic. So, like I said, a gateway beer. That all being said, thank you guys so much for watching again. I saw that we are on 263 subscribers. I don't know where you're all coming from, but each and every one is so very welcome. So thank you guys for watching. Thanks for sticking with me. Again, if you want to support this channel, just share a video, and if you have any comments, remarks, questions, leave them down in the comments. If you like this video in particular, hit the thumbs up, hit the like button. If you want to see more, subscribe and hit that bell icon so you will get notified whenever I upload something, and that should be every Wednesday, Saturday and Sunday at 7 p.m. Cheers, see you guys on Wednesday.